Hello Reddit, hello YouTube, welcome back. This is DLCoats1 here, bringing you another Bog Garden update video. This is August 1st, 2021, with a decent overcast, somewhat muggy, hazy day here in the Pacific Northwest. Our small bog here, I'm probably going to leave it just like this. As you can see here, the local fly traps, and just for the record, yes, I have these two fly traps, the Leucophila, the Flava, and the one Purpurea, and this one Rotundifolia. Yes, I did pull these from the wild. Yes, I did have permission from Department of Natural Resources to pull them. Yes, I'm aware that's a bad thing in the carnivorous plant community to do. However, the Flava, the Leucophila, the fly traps, and the Purpurea are non-native to Washington, which means they do not belong here in the wild. These have been planted out there, seeds dropped, etc. by people 40 plus years ago, and they've just spread like crazy out on a local lake. I will not say where the lake is, as everybody knows with carnivorous plants. Never say the location of where you find them in the wild. If you live in Skagit County, Washington, though, here in the Pacific Northwest, you guys probably know where it is. If you don't, well, you'll have to do your own research and find it on yourselves, because I cannot and will not say it. #1 rule of carnivorous plants. Anyways, as you see there, the fly traps are doing great. You know, they're actually coming back up to health. I had to trim all the traps off originally, as you guys know, but as you see, we've got nice, good clusters of big, healthy traps growing for the summer growth. Our scarlet bell here kind of likes to wither and then die or come back to life here. You see we've got a couple fresh traps, a couple old trap, or a couple fresh-ish traps that have kind of gotten holes and withered a little bit. I did put the one Rotundifolia that I still have in here. The other two died off. This fly trap kind of going back and forth. It's iffy and then it's not iffy. It's sad looking. It gets enough sun, gets enough food, gets enough water. I don't know what's going on with this one. It's just real sad, but it is healthy. As you can tell, we've got some new growth still coming off out of it. Our Capensis stalk here, I'm trying to propagate in here, which is why it's in there like that. I did harvest most of the seeds, but it's still got a few that are just about ready to drop, so that's why I put it in here, because if it doesn't fully successfully propagate, guess what? Got another lot of seeds that will still drop in here and fertilize, or that have already been self-fertilized, and you know what? We'll have some Capensis growing in this smaller pot. I am good with that. The larger pot here, as you can see, I decided to separate all the divisions of the fly trap and rearrange the larger one again. So, we've got a small little dente style. As you see, some of the leaves are dente, some of them are kind of typical. We've got our one typical here that's got a small flower stalk growing. I am going to keep that on there. I'm not going to trim the flower stalk. I know a lot of people say, oh, you should trim it, but you know what? The plant's happy, it's healthy, I'm going to keep it. The actual dente here, which was the main plant that I got from California Carnivores, unfortunately, while it does have two little divisions and possibly a third smaller one on there, I could not separate that. The rhizome is just growing lengthwise and it's not ready to divide just yet. So I just kind of had to reposition that and kept it as is, but hopefully soon we can get some more divisions off that. Because we did get the one right here and the one right here, and as you see, this one's got a nice little snaggletooth style leaf, and then we've got the normal dente style leaves, and then we got some typical leaves off of this, all on the same plant. 3 different types of leaves on the same plant. I think that's pretty cool. And we got a little typical mix off the actual dente parent plant. So this Walmart B52, on the other hand, unlike the other one, has absolutely thrived. I've had 0 issues with this one, and it's just been happy, it's been healthy, it's been taking over, and I love it. Our spatulata here, if anybody else lives in the Pacific Northwest, localized to Skagit County, I would love some help separating these, because you can see how many plants are actually in here, and I don't want this to eventually die off. I kind of want to shorten the shrub out so that way I can spread some of them throughout here. Our Tracii, doing great, doing fantastic. I can't wait to see that one flower and start growing more. Unfortunately, it is getting close to dormancy season for this one. This one will start going dormant come October-ish. But for now, lots of good new growth. Our Capensis, we've got our secondary stalk here blooming with a split in this stalk. That is actually really cool. I like how it did the two little stalks all in one. And then we've got our third stalk just starting to bloom down there, but it is absolutely thriving. Gave it some crickets, it's loving it, it's doing its thing, no issues there. Our purpurea, well, you can actually see it caught the fly. I can't remember, I don't know which hybrid it is exactly, but I know it's got a little bit of a caddis bay in it. But it's starting to do good. I gave it some crickets, and then of course it caught its own fly just recently, but you can see this large giant new trap that's just still opening up. Yeah, it's finally coming up to par. I think I just needed to give it some crickets. Because once I gave it some crickets, it started taking off. Other than that, it was kind of staying short and stubby, and you can see all the new leaves just coming out of that since I gave it the crickets. Our Scarlet Bell here, the smaller one from California Carnivores, doing wonderful. This one's more thriving better than the one from Christensen's, which is an older plant. So you'd think the older plant would do better. No, the younger plant is for some odd reason. Our Swaniana here, is still kind of iffy. It's still kind of staying small, but a lot of new traps, so I'm not too worried. It's doing great. No worries there. The purpurea I pulled, obviously, you guys can see there, some new traps as well, so it's doing good. I gave these some crickets as well, so it's not doing too bad. Same with the flava. Obviously, you can see the new traps coming off the flava. And the Leucophila here, same thing, some new traps. So these are thriving, they're doing good. They didn't get shocked all too bad. Thankfully, I mean, these pitchers that I pulled from the lake just, they love the new soil mix. They love the 1-to-1 compared to the mat that they were growing in. So, but yeah, loving the way it looks. The only thing I got to do now is potentially swap out the yellow pot for maybe a white or a black. I mean, I use the yellow for now because it's what I had that was smaller and that could make there more room and look nicer. But I do want to swap that out because I don't think it'd be good to keep the yellow, although it does add a nice mix between the greens and the other yellows and reds in here. But yeah, I would love to do a top layer. If anybody has any suggestions, let me know in the comments, please. I don't know whether I should do long fiber sphagnum, some kind of washed horticultural grade pebbles. I know I want to add some like moss covered rocks, not any large ones, but some nice small ones, kind of to decorate back here a little bit and maybe a little bit of the sides. I know I want to get some nice little moss covered logs to add, give it a little bit of a nicer natural look. I do want to add some pinguicula or utricularia, preferably some cold hardy variants. So if anybody again lives in the Skagit County region and would like to do some trades, obviously I have lots of divisions here. I've got some spatulata. I'm more than happy to hand over like a Scarlet Bell or something. I believe, like I said, this one's got a couple in it that I can easily separate. I've got a lot of Capensis seeds, obviously. But yeah, if anybody wants to run some trades, I would love to. You know, I definitely want to get some, like I said, pings and utrix. Other than that, though, I've got this set up exactly how I want it. Finally, this is the last time I'm rearranging this, other than potentially moving the Drosera out a little bit to give it some room, just in case the purpurea and the other pitchers start, you know, cluttering up too much around them. And then, other than the top dressing and the pot, these are set. Fiance wanted me to keep this one as it is without reorganizing it. I still might, because thicker over here, mushier over here. It's not as compacted here as it is here, so I kind of want to redo the soil layer, because I did kind of rearrange and pull and replant and all that from those. So I want to make sure this is gonna be good and thrive for her. But yeah, so anyways, hope you guys enjoy the new look of the larger garden. I'm definitely very pleased with it. Like I said, anybody want to do some trades, anybody got some suggestions for top dressing, please let me know. Until next time, I will catch you guys all later. Peace out.